My hair is crazy, isn't it?
Hi, everyone. This is Gail. Welcome to Overcoming the Obstacles. We are joined today by Laurel Stewart. She is Candy the Wee Service Dog here on YouTube. And if you have not checked out her channel, you should because Candy the Wee Service Dog is an adorable chihuahua. And you need to go see her because she's just cute. I want to apologize this morning for the tech difficulties we've had. I don't know if it's on my end, StreamYard's end, or whose, but I do apologize for that. We are glad to be back here live now. So, Laurel, I think you were going to talk about how you manage your disabilities day to day. I know that Candy
Yes.
is part of that, and we've talked about that also you all for the past couple of Tuesdays. So if you haven't tuned in for those episodes, you'll have to go back and check them out after this. And don't forget to give me a like on the video. And if you've not subscribed, now is a great time to hit that subscribe button.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, Laura.
All right.
So tell me a little bit about your disabilities
Okay.
and
So, I mean, a lot of people can't comprehend it, but even my doctors struggle how I do that. But I actually have 24 different disabilities slash disorders slash medical conditions. So it's a combination of all those things. Like I've got four different muscle things. I have four or five bone conditions. I have nerve, three or four different nerve things. Then I have other things like I have a severe hiatal hernia. I have my neck is rotating. I have PTSD. I have GAD, which is general anxiety. A lot of those, the GAD actually did. I never had that. That's the general. But when you start getting all these different disabilities, it does affect your mental. You think like, okay, what's next? Because it seems like every year there's at least one or two conditions add on, and then it gives you that anxiety. Okay, well, what's coming next? And is this permanent, or can I, get it under control or whatever? So yeah, so I have that's why I have psychological or mental, whatever way you want to call it, physical, and then I have medical. So I have, like I said, the hiatal hernia is a big thing. I do have neuropathy that I can't feel when my leg is going to go out. I don't have drop foot, but I have something similar. Instead of the foot, it's my whole leg will fold up, and I can't tell that it's going to happen. But Candy can. She usually is able to tell me at least 5 minutes. A lot of times it's about 10 minutes. And I do want to say, but when you're learning, okay, when your dog is trained to do the task, you gotta get that trust. I mean, they trust you, but you gotta trust their judgment. And
yeah,
sometimes that's kind of hard to do because they're a dog. But
right.
I'll give you an example. I was at the zoo with a friend. She has a service dog, and I couldn't take my chair because it was broke, and we had to wait till the repair guy could come to my house. So, anyways, she said, I could lean on her, but I was fine. I was walking, and then, like sometime midday, I was walking. It's a type of gravel, Gail, but it's not that kind where your foot can. It's solid. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to
Yeah,
explain, but anyways, it's more chunky rock, so you don't feel like you're gonna fall. And so I'm walking
that's
on this
good.
path at the zoo, and I was interested in getting to the next exhibit. And my friend was gently telling me, I think Candy's trying to tell you something. I said, oh, she's probably just getting bored or whatever. But she wasn't. She was nose bumping my ankle. And then she finally got in front of me and tapped my leg. And at that time, I felt like, okay, yeah, I do need to go sit. So I should have listened to her 5 minutes earlier.
Laurel, Laurel, I hate to do this, but somebody is knocking at my door.
Okay.
Let me go see what it is. You keep talking.
Okay. So, anyways, I didn't pay attention to her tasking because I was thinking, oh, she was just, you know, excited because we were at the zoo and there was different animals. She really was. focused in telling me that, hey, mom, you need to go sit down. And so I did. Thank goodness I didn't fall, but I did start feeling a little bit off balance. And that's when I realized that I should have paid attention to her 5 minutes prior to that, and I wouldn't have had that feeling. So you have to have that trust of what they're telling you, that they know what they're telling you, and you have to trust that animal is telling you what you need. And like I said, you have to, besides having that bond of, okay, you have a good relationship, you have to have that bond of trust with your animal. So you have to trust that even though you might not think that there's something going on, the animal knows a lot of times, and thank goodness, they're you know, uh, really focused on their task, that they don't let that you know, discourage them from doing the task. I mean, she she was not going to stop letting me know I needed to sit down until I did it. So that's one thing that's very very important to make sure your animal, that you trust your animal, and then even then you have to make sure that you give them rewards. Now some dogs are food motivated, some are praise motivated. Some like toys. Like if you ever see some of the police dogs, they like a ball after they've done their job. They like to have a tennis ball or something. Some animals, like I said, they like, with Candy, she likes praise or her squeaky toy. She does, don't get me wrong, she does like treats, but her main reward for doing a task is she loves praise. She likes to say, I'll say, oh, what a good girl. She loves that. She thrives on praise. So you have to find out.
Make you happy.
Right. So what motivates your animal? Like I said, they could be food motivated, um, toy motivated, or the praise. Like I said, with the German Shepherds, a lot of times they like the tennis ball after they've done whatever. Yeah, have you ever went to those demonstrations where the police dogs do stuff and like they'll attack somebody and shake them, and then afterwards you'll see the handler throw a ball and the dog goes off to run them. That's their reward, is that ball. Or sometimes they have them on one of those stick things. So as I said, you have to find out what your animal likes. Like I said, Candy will be motivated by treats, but not as much. So there's times where like when, for instance, when I was in the doctor's office and she alerted me, and even the doctor was amazed. She didn't want the treat I had. She just wanted to get up and get a hug for doing what she was supposed to do. So
Your
yeah,
mama was okay.
that's one thing that people say it's a fallacy that animals don't like to be hugged, but Candy loves it. She loves to cuddle. She will hold on to me really tight, and then she'll nuzzle her arm, her head in my armpit. She likes to root down and she just wags her little butt. So that's what, like I said, you have to trust your animal is telling you, alerting you to the task, and then you've got to make sure that you immediately reward them, because if there's a pause, they won't make that connection that, oh, okay, she just wants to give me a treat or she just wants to pet me. But if they connect that with the task, then they're gonna, uh, do that. They'll be reliable on the test. But like I said, you've got to reward them, as soon as you're able to. And I understand sometimes if you're having a seizure, but then the animal, I think, understands that once you are out of that seizure, then you can say, oh, well, mommy's okay now. And that right there is reward, that they know you're okay now. So, but like I said, they have to have that immediate reward so they can make that, mental connection that, hey, if I do this, I get this. So those are really important things that I find. I don't know what motivates Pitsy.
Balls and TREATS.
What's
Those
that?
his
Tell me
his
again.
his favorite munchies and tennis balls.
Oh, okay. I didn't. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and I want to
Yeah.
apologize about the door that like never happens, but somebody actually found a dog and they were concerned that it was Pipsy and tried to bring him to me.
Oh, okay.
Wrong breed, but right color, but wrong
Oh,
breed.
okay. What kind of dog was it?
It looked like a little mix, maybe a lab mixed with something else, but
Oh, okay.
his face was broader and he was taller.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
But I was like, no, sir, Pipsy's inside. But I just wanted to apologize for that.
Oh no, that's fine. But like I said, those are key things to trust the animals telling alerting you to a task, or make sure you give the reward uh
Right.
pretty quick. So
Now,
yeah.
I'll toss out an example. I had not had Pipsy very long, and I started not feeling well one morning and hadn't had a huge problem with blood sugar drop, but
Hmm.
he kept trying to tell me something. Well, I'd only had him about a month at most, so we were still trying to learn how to work together because it takes you a little while to
Right.
really learn your dog. And I learned a big lesson in trusting your dog because I was I told him, just wait and made him go on a down and stuff like that. Then I
Right.
hopped in the shower and he kept trying to nudge
Yeah.
me. And he does his paw. That's when I'm
Right.
describing the leg. And he kept trying to nudge me that way. And I'm just like, go ahead, down, sit, whatnot. And by the time I got out of the shower, I was starting to shake. And I was like, oh, that's when the light bulb came on. Well, obviously, the light bulb on my head was on a dimmer switch.
Right. But that's what I'm
Okay.
saying. That's what I was saying, that it is crucial to have that trust in your animal. Like I said, sometimes it's hard to comprehend, like, really that animal knows more than me. It's kind of a, it's, sometimes we get in trouble, like, you mean the dog is smarter than me? Kind of thing. But that's what I was saying with Candy at the zoo. I could have avoided feeling, off balance had I listened to her 5 minutes prior to that. But again, we have to build that trust with them. I mean, no matter how long you've had them, if they're learning a new task and you're sure that they know the task, you've got to trust that animal that they're doing. And then, like I said, that reward is very important. I think another thing, and I mean, it's kind of off topic, but you do need to make sure when you're training your service dog, even after you went through a program or whatever, that you've got to make sure that they do not do resource guarding, meaning they're not protective of food or that kind of stuff.
And that's
That's
something that a formally trained service dog won't do. They won't
right,
guard horses, and they
right.
won't guard you either. Part of the access test is they have to walk away with a stranger.
Yeah,
And that killed me.
yeah. Well, and then what I do when I was training Candy, I would be at the restaurant and I purposely would drop food or whatever, and so she would leave the food. But there was one instance. Now, remember how I told you that they don't expect dogs to be robots? I mean, if somebody
Living
if,
thinking.
if somebody spills a drink, you're going to get back so the drink doesn't get on you. What happened when the waitress was clearing the dinner dishes off because she was going to come back with our desserts, that somehow a knife hit the curved part of the fork, and the fork flew up in the air and landed on the floor. Well, now Candy didn't run. She didn't get all excited and jump, but she did move back because she knew that fork, could hurt her. Now she didn't move that far away. She still was. She moved back like 5 or 6 inches, so she was under the table. So
So
she
she moved
kind of
back.
came out. And but her reflex, animals' reflexes are smart. Like she said, I'm not gonna get poked by that fork, but she didn't. I mean, she didn't yell. She didn't get all excited, start running all over the place. So they don't expect them to be robots. So if I mean, you're not gonna let the sit down and let somebody drop hot coffee on your lap. You're gonna jump back. That's it's just that they can't do it in an aggressive way or in a dangerous way, like running through the restaurant or whatever like that. But that's an incident, like I said, um, and that's a real life situation. The waitress didn't mean to, have that fork go flying off the plate, but she was amazed. She says, "Wow, Candy did that in such a manner that you would have never thought she was, avoiding the fork. She looked like she was just gonna reposition herself." But yeah, and when you're talking about about the blood sugar with Pepsi, it reminded me sometimes I'm at home and I would be doing some work on the my tablet, and she trained to remind me of my medicines. Okay, so because I have to take my medicines, I think 4 times a day, because she only eats twice. So two of the times I take my medicine is connected with her meals, but then the other two is for playtime. So when I'm taking my medicine in between meals, she'll come and she'll jump off my recliner, which is about 10 feet away, okay? And she'll first come and tap me, and then if I don't pay attention, she'll get positioned where she's looking me in the face, and she'll make a little whimper, and if I don't pay attention, then she taps me, and then finally she just gets mad and she will start barking and barking and hitting my leg, and then, oh yeah, mommy needs medicine, right? And then she goes quietly and goes like down. As long as I said, mommy's got to go get him, she's like saying, lady, get up and go get your medicine. But so she starts off slowly. Now she wouldn't do that in public, but at home, like I said, she's uh, what do you call it? She's what do you call that when you're
She gets a little insistent at
no, no,
home.
no, no. I mean, like when she's on call at home, so she only
Oh,
works. So she can have her playtime or goofing off time. But if I need her, like I said, the medicine recall, or if I'm having some anxiety, whatever room, she'll come in and take care of me. So like I said, she could be sleeping, and I could. She knows when my hernia's flaring up at night. I could be, making. I make a little tiny, like a little cough. I just go, but normally, nobody else could really hear that. But she'll come flying into the bedroom and, alert me that, I'm starting to aspirate on food. But like I said, so she's on call. But like I said, when she's telling me something and I don't pay attention, she gets very emphatic and she can be loud. I said, okay, mom, you get the medicine. And then, like I said, she just walks away and goes like down, like, that's all I wanted you to do, lady.
aw.
So yeah. So I mean that when you're telling me about Pipsy, he was being very emphatic about you getting that blood sugar check. That's good.
Yes. Oh my stars. And if it is a high blood sugar situation, I've got a video and he will come and he starts pulling on my clothes. And
Oh wow.
yes, he does. And he's like, you will take care of this right now. But
Yes.
it was interesting to me that his high blood sugar reaction is very different from his low blood sugar reaction. But I'm
Well, that
glad to.
makes sense. But then that helps you know whether your sugar is high or low. Like alerting to your sugar, you might not know is it too high or too low. But that's good that there's a distinct difference when he's telling you those things. That's well, not, I know you said was he trained to alert you to your diabetes or no?
Yes, he did
Okay,
have some basic training, like with scent samples, but he didn't have, like, he still has to learn how to do that with me.
okay, yeah. But I meant, but that's fantastic. That wasn't there. Was it maybe it's your asthma? I thought you said there was one thing that they didn't train him for, but he does alert you to. Is it your asthma?
He does alert to the asthma.
But they
He
didn't train him for that, right?
no, but
Okay,
he
that's what I'm saying. So that's a natural ability for him to do that for you. So that's great. Were you
yeah,
surprised when he started doing that for you on the asthma alert?
yes.
Yeah. How long had you had him before he started doing that, Gail? Are you there, Gail? Uh-oh. Gail. Uh-oh. We lost you there for a minute.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what's
Oh,
up.
no, you're fine. What I
The
was saying was,
thing on the bottom of the screen, I can't get off either. So,
oh, okay. No, what I was asking you about when, how long had you had him when he started alerting you to the asthma?
he's just started that within the past couple of months. It's been a pretty
Okay.
good development.
Okay. No, I just didn't, because like when I got Candy, and like I said, originally she was my ESA, but I only had her less than 6 months, and that's when she started alerting me to my um, neuropathy, and that's when I decided I was gonna, train her to be my service dog. But like I said, that's a natural ability that she has. She knew, and the thing is, like you remember, we had discussed that before. Sometimes they will do it for other people. Now she doesn't just do it
Yeah,
randomly for people, but people that are close, that are considered family. Like I've got a really, really close friend that she will do that for. Her
he will
mental.
do that to my
Yeah,
mother-in-law.
yeah.
So,
Thing. But they have to have, she has to have a relationship with that person for her to do that. She does that with my daughter-in-law too. Um,
he
but
was interesting because on the second visit with her, he goes over and he starts to paw at her leg, and of course um, she moved his hand because we didn't want her to, mess up her new pants or anything like
right,
that,
right, right.
risking a tear or anything. And so she moved it back, and Pacer just kind of, Pipsy just kind of cocked his head kind of funny, and he started to do it again. And I looked at her and I said, "How's your blood sugar?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm not sure. Let me scan it."
Yeah.
And sure enough, her blood sugar, she scanned it, and she's like, "Oh, I'm within just a few points of having to take a shot. I'll go ahead and do that."
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was the second time. So,
So
but
yeah, like I said,
that was checking in with her because Pipsy just we've not been over at her house much.
yeah. Well, that is amazing. But like I was saying, Candy will only do it for really uh close intimate. But when I was saying about word connections, what we were outside because I
Tanya,
think. Oh, hi,
Tanya,
Tanya.
hi Tanya. She says Archer has done that with a friend of hers.
Oh, okay, okay. That's good. But what like I said, Candy, she also makes well, I'm sure Pipsy does, but word connections. We were outside before we, getting ready. We're like a 10 after 11, and we're out there. And sometimes she just like, especially now it's getting to be spring, she wanted to just sip around. I said, Candy, I said it really calm and kind of matter of fact. I said, Candy, if you don't hurry up, we're not going to get to talk with Gail. Her ears went straight up. She hurried up. She hurried up and she just had to tinkle. She hurried up and tinkled, and then she jumped back on the scooter because she knew who you were. Now, right now, she's acting disinterested, but she really likes hearing you talk. And so, like I said, if you don't go potty soon, you're gonna miss talking with Gail today.
Well, hi
So,
Candy. You keep being a good girl, Candy.
but I mean, isn't that interesting how they can make, name connections and in situations like that? So now, does Pipsy go get John sometime when you need John? Okay, is that something that
No.
he was trained to do? Uh-oh.
So John's the and Tanya's saying that he always takes care to alert to her friend Sugar when she's around.
Yeah, yeah,
That's pretty awesome.
yeah.
But now with Pipsy going to get people, it's only my husband. I'm hoping that one day he will, learn to go get somebody else. But so far, that's him. And
Yeah.
like it's actually that like I'll fall or someplace out in public and need him to go find a human. So I don't know. We're
Well,
working on.
I'm working on with candy like that now. Because I live in a
Uh oh, the sound dropped.
oh, okay. Because I know for a
Laurel,
minute
is
I
your
couldn't hear.
sound dropping out?
No, I can hear you, but a minute ago I couldn't hear you. So
Okay, I'm having trouble
okay,
hearing you.
okay, now I can't hear you. I
Okay,
can. Okay, now I can hear you.
you can? Okay, good.
Yeah. But what I was saying was about candy. I'm training. I live in a senior building. There's 184 apartments, so the fire department comes quite often to take, people to, sometimes, they can't tell the difference between an emergency. Like with one lady, she gets gas, but she thinks she's having a heart attack. But so
Oh no.
I don't want her to be afraid of the firemen with all their stuff on, because sometimes if they have to come, even if it's just a little smoke on the stove. They have to make sure there's not a fire. So I don't want her to be afraid of fire. So I've taken her to the fire department and they put on their stuff and they'll talk, funny with the mask on. And she likes that and she'll cuddle with them. And so when they come in the building, she's not scared of them. Or God forbid if they had to come into my apartment, that she wouldn't be trying to protect me from them. There was an incident. This was about 3 years ago. It was a very hot spring day. It was actually the temperature actually was 100 degrees, but with the heat index, it made it feel hotter. And lo and behold, my scooter died on me, and I got it up under a tree, but I was still really hot. And so I did call 911, and I told them that I'm not losing consciousness. I'm starting to feel really hot. I've got fluids to drink, but my scooter died about a half a block from my home, and it's straight up a really steep hill. So the fire department came. She wasn't up. I mean, she didn't scared when she heard the siren and when they pulled up and all that. Well, the thing is, because they have to follow certain liability, so I didn't need an ambulance. So I am allowed to go onto the truck. I didn't know that, but you can ride in the fire truck, but they couldn't take the scooter. So I happened to be, we have a van service and this for our building, and they happened to come by and they took my scooter. So I rode in the fire department, the fire truck. Well, that's a big step. So there was
Thank
a,
you, Tanya.
so there was, yeah.
Real quick, Tanya is saying that Archer is semi-retiring from the mobility aspect of his job because she's switching to a wheelchair, and now she says she's got to go. But thank you, Tanya, for coming in.
Yes, thank you, Tanya.
Excuse me.
But anyway, so anyways, these big firemen, one on each arm, helped me get in the truck. Well, Candy's on. Remember, I told you I've got that. It's about 2.5 feet, maybe 3 feet long. It's like a bungee cord, hands-free leash. Okay, so the firemen pick me up, and they said, well, do we need to pick her up? I said no, because there's a couple of steps. She'll just come with, and they were surprised that she didn't get scared that these two big old guys were picking me up, putting me in the truck, and then she just followed along. And then when we got to the same thing, she got down first, and then they helped me down. So she wasn't scared that we were going in this strange vehicle with these guys wearing all this stuff on their body. So that's I guess you call that desensitizing. So I think
Yeah.
that's the thing I think you like I'm trying to get her to. We've been to the zoo quite a bit, so I'm trying to get her to know what the zoo people look like. So in case, like you said, if I was to get sick, she would be able to go to them and not just go up to anybody. So the one worker there, he wasn't actually an animal care. He actually does like the cares for all the plants and all that. And his supervisor said that was fine because I couldn't go out in the grass for her to go to pod. They've got to figure out better situation for service dogs to go potty because if you're in a chair, you can't run out on this bumpy grass. So anyway, she took the hands release and she went with him because I said it's like an umbilical. Whoever has that, she trusts that person, with the hands-free leash. So I think that's what I'm trying to train. Because she would be dragging that if something happened to me. So I'm sure somebody that would be responsible would, like in the zoo or wherever we're at the mall. So, but I'm trying to get her to understand, uniforms and stuff like that. So yeah. So I mean, I think that just takes a lot of work. But yeah, um, I understand. Like, yeah, you want her to, you want Pipsy to be focused on just getting your, what do you call it, John?
My
Your
significant other, my health
no, I know that, but
right?
he's your service human, is what I'm gonna say, because he helps you when you need. So you got a service dog and a service human. That's what I said. My daughter-in-law says that she's my service human. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, yeah, he's great. I, you know, but having the service dog has brought my service human, John, a lot of comfort.
Yes.
His anxiety level has been able to lower be, because of having Dipsy,
Right.
and part of the part of the huge benefit of having a service animal.
Right. And then the other aspect, not only it gives him comfort to know Pipsy will be there for you, but it gives him a little bit more freedom. He doesn't have to constantly check on you. He knows you're safe unless Pipsy comes, from the other room and, is getting him. So, yeah, so he doesn't have to have he can focus on other things around the house or whatever and not have to worry about, yeah, is somebody there for you? Yeah. So I guess what is it, about 12:43? Did you want to just kind of wrap it up of what you
Yeah,
want everybody to think of all
if
this?
you don't mind, just to bring everybody up to speed on what's going on in my life. My uncle has passed away, and we're going to be leaving here to go to his funeral. And it's interesting that you were talking about trying to acclimate Candy to uniforms. My uncle is retired military and a retired police officer, and we anticipate that there's going to be some officers there at the funeral.
Mm-hmm.
um, dropping in and out. So I'm really
Yeah.
glad for
I
that
have a
reason too that
yeah.
he's been acclimated and I don't have to worry about him.
Yeah, I do have one question about that.
Okay.
Because my niece, her father passed away last summer. And he
Sorry.
got he had a military funeral because he was a Vietnam vet. But anyways, they did a full military funeral. The veterans, administration paid for the whole thing, but they did do the 21 gun salute. So I was just wondering, has he been desensitized to guns or not?
He has been around guns.
Okay, so if they were to do that, it
South,
wouldn't startle him.
Laurel,
Yeah.
I live in the South. He's been around.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
um, don't tell me you're part of the Beverly Hillbilly gang.
no, not like the Beverly Hillbillies,
So, so,
but
so you're not eating possum then?
no, I'm not doing the possum thing.
Well,
No possum stew at this house.
well, up here in Ohio, raccoon is pretty popular. I have to tell you that one. This was like when Walter and I first got married, so we're talking about like 45 years ago. But his brother had his own market where he had a license to butcher his own meat. Well, we had a what do you call it? A picnic in the summer, and he said, "Oh, I got some barbecue meat to eat." He said meat. He didn't say what it was. And I don't know if you've ever seen raccoon. It's a ruby red kind of meat, and so when you put that barbecue sauce, it just looks like barbecue beef. So I had a couple of those sliders, and they were good. And then I guess my son was 6 and my daughter was 4, and they kept saying, "Mom, Mom, we're eating coon meat." I'm like, "What?" And I found out that's what. Here I had eaten 3 or 4 of those sliders, so I had coon meat.
I don't think that. No, no.
And I have to tell you, Gail, it really wasn't that bad. It just seemed like I've never had venison, so I don't know how but it is a very strong tasting meat, but it's not bad tasting. And he really had a license, so he knew how to, do the raccoon without, making anybody sick. But so I had coon sliders. Tell John about that one.
I will. I'm making a note.
Well, I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks for everybody joining us. And Gail, thank you for letting me be on this program. I appreciate I get to share my passion about service animals. And I hope anybody that's thinking about needing a service dog, or they're not sure if they need a service dog, or they just need an ESA for home use, or you can even have a service dog that you just have at home that you don't need to go in public, but you need one around the house. So I hope people learn from this. And then, do you still have the information about the ADA on the link or whatever, so people can?
I do not, but I am going to add that link down today. Let me
Okay.
get the internet straightened out a little bit more so I can
Yeah,
work on
yeah.
it. And then, yeah.
Okay, so when are you leaving, Gail?
I'm leaving. My husband should get home shortly. I'm going to feed him. The soup's in the crock pot, and then we are out the door.
Okay, so how long will you be gone?
Just today.
Oh,
We
okay.
have
I thought maybe it was a couple of days that you were going to be gone. So no.
no. We talked about it, but he's got to work, so we had talked about me going down by myself, but we just decided that we would just make a round trip. Now next week, and just the way it works out, we're actually putting my father-in-law. We're scattering his ashes next week.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an intense 2 weeks here.
Well, we got you in our prayers, so have a safe trip.
Okay, thank you. You
All
give
right.
Candy a hug for me.
I sure will. Thank
Okay,
you. Tell
thank
John
you.
we love him. All right.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.